Now let's take a look at editing and working with some clips in the WeVideo editor. We're going to use the full featured editor. That's the default editor. If you're interested in the simplified editor, it's really probably more appropriate only for younger students, maybe K3. It's very simple, very basic. It would be good if you wanted to do a photo story. There's more information about it in the next section of the class. So if you create new anything from this menu, it's going to enter the full featured editor. So I'm just going to click on that to open a project. This allows me to save it into a certain project folder. Basically, projects are just folders to hold and organize some of the work that you've done in WeVideo. So I'm just really not going to add it into a specific folder and leave it in the general folder and say start editing. So this is the full featured editor in WeVideo. What you'll find is all of the menus and items that you're going to use are going to be in the top left of your screen. The top right allows you to preview what you have so far in your video, and you build your video at the bottom of the screen in the timeline. So the timeline also has this little guy right here. This is called this blue this is your playhead. So you'll be using your playhead a lot because you can place it to where you want to, maybe cut things or just that you want to preview from a certain spot. Another thing you'll notice is that you have different tracks here on your timeline. You can have as many tracks as you want, so you can have multiple pieces of media overlapping. You can do picture in picture and green screen, and you can have more than one audio file playing at a time. So I could have a sound effect, background music, and a narration all playing at the same time. What it defaults is it gives you a text and video lines are really interchangeable, but just because it says text, I'm going to get rid of that. I also have an audio line as a default and one video line. You can add new tracks by just clicking the plus sign and choosing whether you want it to be an audio or a video text track. You can also name your tracks. So I'm going to call this one, just going to add a video track and call it green screen. So we can take a look at how to do that in a few minutes. So what we're going to do next is just take a look at how to add some media. Before we do that, I just want to draw your attention to the main menu, under which you'll notice is a save button. So WeVideo does autosave as you work, but it is recommended that periodically you do come up here and click save, and to also hit save before you leave, just in case is kind of an insurance policy. Some of the other items in the main menu we'll be covering in the next section of the class. So what I'm seeing, and this is like the menu for your videos. So on the left here, these are all the items that you can add into your video. Right now, we're just going to focus on media and how to edit and do some different things with media in WeVideo. So when I'm under my media, I have a whole bunch of media clips in my media because I've used WeVideo before. So anytime I add a media clip, and a media clip can be a video clip, it could be an audio clip, it could be an animation, it could be a photograph or a drawing, anything like that can be added as media. A lot of this stuff I've added for previous projects, but it stays in my media folder so that I can use it again. If you want to get rid of it, you can always just right click on it and just say delete. You can also name your media if you want to, if it's going to like help you organize and find something. So you can also search your media by name. So if you do name your media, then it's easier for you to search it if you end up having a lot here. Under shared media, this is media that we can share and make available for the entire district. So for instance, if I was doing a video with my class and I didn't really want them to find their own clips, I was just going to provide the clips that they were going to use. I could create a little folder of clips and make it available so they can come in here and just get the media they're going to use and drag it down to the timeline. You can also create student project folders. And so this would be best for like small group projects. And you can have media that's shared for a specific group to use as well. So those options are there, and they're described in more detail when we talk about how to organize projects in the next section. But right now we're just going to stick with my media. I can add media into my media to be used like into my media section here so that I can use it in projects by just clicking import. And I have the option here to add media that's saved onto my local computer by clicking browse to select, or if it's in my Google Drive, I can just hit the Google Drive icon and it will launch my Google Drive. First time through may prompt you to log in to Google Drive. Now I can find any of the media I have here and I can add it to my project. So if I wanted to use this picture, I would just click on it and click select. If you want more than one picture or item or video, I can hold my control key down and I can add more than one item at a time. I don't really want them all, so I'm just going to do the one, just to save a time. When you import your media, you'll see that it starts loading into the My Media area. You can also get media from the folders on the left. WeVideo has a huge library of videos, images, and audio clips that are free to use and add into your projects. These are all copyright free, so you can use them and publish them in projects without having to worry about copyright when you're using them. If I wanted to grab a video from here, they do have them categorized, but you can also search. So I can do general searches, like I could search the word science and kind of browse videos that are about science, or I can get a little bit more specific and even do like keywords like DNA and have videos that are maybe just about DNA. Same works with images as well as audio. The other thing that you'll find is that if you find something that you like and you're thinking you might use it again, you can just hover over it and highlight the little heart, and that will make it a favorite, and just put it at the top of the list so that these are my list of favorites, and it just makes it easier to find, to add and drag down to your project. Okay, so let's take a look at, let's kind of start building something on the timeline. I'm going to start by just adding a still picture to the project and kind of make that as like my opening screen. So what I want to do when I'm adding it to the timeline, I want to make sure that I always start right at the beginning of the timeline. When you add a picture, it will default to be on the screen for 5 seconds. That's the default, but you can easily change that. The easiest way is just to hover over a clip and you can drag it out as long or short as you want. You can also change the timing once we get into the editing of the picture, and you can edit any picture or video clip or audio clip on your timeline by just double clicking on it. So if I double click, I get this menu of options. So some things that I can do is I can rotate my pictures. You can flip them horizontal or vertical. You can also kind of make them fit the screen or a little bit smaller on the screen so you can see the controls. I can also make it bigger or smaller by scaling, and this allows you to kind of zoom in. You can also, if I zoom that out and kind of see the controllers on the side of the picture, you can actually move the picture around on the screen. You can also make it smaller or bigger. So when we talk about all the different tracks that you can have on your timeline, this is how you can do things like picture in picture. I could have one track have the picture be smaller on the screen, and then I'll have a second track with maybe a larger picture or video clip behind it. But since this is my opening screen, we'll just leave it as larger for now. Some other things that I can do here, I can crop my pictures. So the cropping is done by moving the sliders. So if I wanted to maybe get something from the, like, crop out from the left, I can do that. I can move it from the left. If I wanted to, like, crop out from the bottom, I can move it up. It'll crop out the bottom of the picture. Now, if I decide I crop it and I don't like it, you can just go ahead and click the little trash can and it'll undo the effect that you just did. Another thing that you can do is create an animation on a picture. And you can do that by, let's say that I want to have this picture sort of zoom into the screen. I can make, this is highlighted, so I'm setting my start position, and I can make it kind of small like this. And then my end position, I might want it like really zoomed in, actually kind of more focused on the ball. So now when I play, what this is going to look when I play my video is like this. And it's going to zoom all the way right into the last position that I had. And if I decide I don't want that, again, I can just go ahead and hit the trash can. Another thing that you can do is color keying. So this is what you would use for green screens, which I'll show an example of that in a second, but it allows you to kind of erase the color of anything in your picture. So what you do is you just put the dropper on the color you want to erase. So if I want to kind of make this, erase the yellow in this picture, I would just click on this, and it's, well, there's a lot of different shades of yellow here, so I would have to click, and that one took out a little bit too much color, but you get the idea. I'm going to trash that for now, and we'll show you an easier way to use that in a second. And then finally, you can adjust the brightness or the saturation colors of your pictures, so I can make them brighter or darker. You can adjust them this way. You can adjust the contrast. You can do kind of like color hue saturation if you want to. So you can play around with that and add different effects to your picture that way. At any time, you can go back and undo something that you've done by clicking the trash can. And if you want to save what you've done, like if I want to save that animation that I created, I just have to hit save changes before I exit, which I will do. So now let's take a look at how we would edit a video clip. So this is a video clip of just the students speaking. So I'm going to drag that down to my timeline, and I want to butt that right up next to my first clip. You don't want to have any gaps in your timeline. If you have a gap, you'll notice when I move my playhead, the screen turns black. That's because I have a gap in my timeline. So you want to avoid that unless it's purposeful. So this is a video of the students speaking. One thing that I can do is I can also zoom in on my timeline, so I can kind of use the slider down here to make it bigger or smaller and kind of see more detail in the video. But let's say that I'm looking at this and I know they made a mistake. I'm going to drag my playhead right to the beginning of the mistake, and you can cut up your clips here. So I can split my clip by just clicking on the scissor on the playhead, and it'll split wherever the playhead is located. So this way I could even do something like move this, play this part of the video, maybe add something different in here like a picture, and then continue the video afterwards. Or I can use this to get rid of mistakes. So if this was the beginning of a mistake, I would now move this to the end of the mistake. We'll say is right here, clip it again. And then I would click on the clip in the middle, which is the mistake, and delete that. So I can do that by either hitting delete on my keyboard or hovering over the little floating menu, which gives you some little shortcuts here. And one of them is to trash. So again, I'm going to want to just fill the empty space of my timeline, and now this video will play seamlessly without the mistake in the middle. Okay, so let's do just to show you that you have the same editing options as you do in a video clip. If I double click this, again, I have those same options. Number one, you can scale your video. You can make it smaller or bigger, just like you could a picture. You can crop it. You do have a couple of extra items on this. So one of them is adjusting the volume, because it's a video clip and there is volume for it. I can make it louder or quieter. I can also fade the audio in and out. And another extra option that you have with a video clip is speed. So I can add, just by the sliders, you can make it faster or slower. And if it's kind of gets choppy, you can hit the little smooth button, and it's a very easy way to do slow motion or to kind of speed up a clip for a special effect. Again, anything that you've created, like any effect you've added that you don't want, you can just go ahead and click delete on it and then save changes. So now let's just show you a little bit about layering, and then we'll give you a little bit of break from this so that you can play around with some of the clips. So one of the items that I saved under images, actually it must have been under videos, here it is, was a video of some green screens. So let's say that I want to have the video of the boy speaking to show up like on the computer screen of this, or maybe even on the phone. I will take my green screen clip and move it down to the timeline. And I'm just gonna I'm gonna actually delete this video just to kind of show you that I can actually just delete this part of this video clip, just so that it only is going to be on the screen for the same amount of time as the video of the boy speaking. So when you're layering items, the one thing you want to just keep in mind is that whatever is supposed to be in the front should be on the track that is on the top. So if I wanted the picture of the boys to be on the front, I would actually move this track on top of the green screen track. But for a green screen effect, I'm going to want this to be on the top, because I'm going to want the video of the boys to be showing through. So let's actually edit this. So I'm going to double click on this clip, and just to do the screening effect, I'm going to click on the color keying tab, and I'm going to grab my eyedropper, point it on top of the green, and just click on it, and that erased the green. And sometimes, if you're filming in front of a green screen, if the lighting's off, you might see like a little shadow or glow around the outside of a person. If that happens, that's where you can use these sliders to kind of mask that and to kind of adjust it so that you don't have any weird glows around people. So for right now, I'm going to hit save changes on this clip. Now what I need to do is I need to resize the video clip of the boy so it actually fits into the screen. So I'm going to now double click on this and go back to the scaling option here. And I can now scale this, and it kind of shows me an outline so that I can sort of place the video so that it is going to show through here. And you can rotate this a little bit, but it's probably on this one, it's at an angle. I think it's better. Oops, I don't know what I'm doing here. Let me scale it here. My mouse is getting stuck. It maybe just to go a little bit on the outer edge of it, like this. So now when I hit save changes and I go to preview my video, the boys are going to be in the video of the boys is going to be in the cell phone. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So as an option, so there's a lot that you can do here just by kind of manipulating and editing clips. So we're going to give you a little bit of an opportunity now to play with some video clips. If you don't have any, if you don't really have anything saved and you don't have anything to import here, you can just play with the videos and images that are part of the program.